Hello everybody, welcome back to TTTV. This is TTL F1 season number 12, round 5, which takes us to the Spanish Grand Prix. My name is Kieran McGinley. I'm on my own on the box tonight. No Andy, but he will be joining you for Thursday, which coming up is the Monaco Grand Prix, and I know everybody's looking forward to that one. It should be a cracker. For now though, we are at the Spanish Grand Prix and the Circuit de Catalunya, which is... well, it's a circuit that's been used since 1991. Its first race there back then, and it's hosted some memorable races in real life, such as Michael Schumacher's pretty much win in the Storm. Managed to almost lap the entire field. I believe it was all but 2 cars, and that was the podium he never managed to lap. Such a huge display, especially in a car that was really not meant to perform that well throughout the entire season. Thank you for joining me for it. It should be a cracking race. And the Circuit de Catalunya is always an interesting circuit to visit. It's a fairly balanced track, so you have to really sort of balance the car between high-speed aero and the long straights, as of course we do have that DRS straight from the final corner down towards turn 1. And with the undulation as well, the altitude change takes into effect as well. And one corner that I particularly struggle at this track, if I explain it now, seems to always be turn 7 and turn 8. So as you're coming down the hill, you've got turn 7 and then you go up the hill. Always there, I seem to lose the back end. No idea whether that's the ballast being run too far forward or what have you, but the rear end always seems to get away from me there. And Spanish Grand Prix is a challenging track for me, but it does have some fantastic flowing sections like turn number 3. Expect some guys to try around the outside of turn 3, try a Fernando Alonso style pass on the very first lap of the Grand Prix. Of course, turn 1, 2 and 3 is a good overtaking opportunity for this track, as well as turns 4 and 5 as they're good braking zones. You've also got the heavy braking zone at the end of turn 10 on the other DRS straight, going from turn 9 down towards turn 10. And of course you've got that chicane section, very unpopular when it was first introduced all those years ago, but now it's pretty much commonplace. Turns 14 and 15 leading us then to the final corner of turn 16. It's proven to be a track that garners the attention of all the drivers, really, as I think everyone's just waiting for me to spectate. Sorry guys, that's what they were waiting for, because I haven't got the YouTube chat up yet. I was just busy setting this all up. But we should be in for a fantastic race as always here. Let's have a look at the drivers' standings then, if I just get those up. And if you saw last time out, Poe took the championship lead away from Blizzard, but only by 2 points at the moment, the gap between those two. Then it's Squeezy in 3rd on 39 points, Clifford in 4th on 32, Josh in 5th on 25, tied with Jay, the Renault and the Ferrari there. The Gore in 7th on 20 points, Ollie is in 8th on 19 points, Siege in 9th on 18 points, Sean in 10th with 17 points, Steph in 11th on 16 points, Ollie P in 12th on 15 points, Litinho in 13th on 14 points, Lambo in 14th on 13 points. Is this getting confusing yet? Spike, Alan Kay and Frank are all tied on 8 points, which puts them in joint 15th place. Plaster is in 18th on 6 points. Damien and Mays tied 1 point apiece and joint 19th. In the constructor standings then, Force India lead the way on 93 points. Haas in 2nd on 78. McLaren in 3rd on 53. Williams in 4th on 43. Ferrari in 5th on 31. Red Bull in 6th on 30 points. Renault in 7th on 26. Toro Rosso and Mercedes tied for points in joint 8th place on 17 points. And Sauber round out the teams with 16 points. So, as we get ready to go here for the Spanish Grand Prix, and qualifying is about to get underway. 19 drivers with us today, as only missing 1 driver, so a good full grid ready to get going now, as I try desperately to put the video on Twitter, as I so often try to do. See, the thing is, when you're on your own and you're commentating on your own, it's very difficult to try and share the link, because you've got to keep talking, and you've got to open the YouTube page, and you've got to share the link to Twitter, and you've got to type something about it. It all gets needlessly complicated. But well, what can you do? There goes Blizzard then, out of the pit lane he goes in his Force India, and obviously losing that championship lead after crashing out from the Baku Grand Prix last time out. As the sun cream is needed from Maze there in the chat. Yes, it is. It's nice and sunny here. Expecting it hopefully to be dry throughout the session. Squeezy, as always, is the first person out on track. And Spike there saying to me, sorry Kieran, I forgot my violin. Ah, that's a damn shame, Spike. Hopefully you can not add to your 3 out of 4 retirements this season. Round 5 at Spain then offers plenty of on-track action, as we see with Blizzard now going down turn 5. Make sure you're careful on that exit there on the AstroTurf on the right hand side. Then as we go up the hill then through 7 and turn 8. Coming towards turn 9, watch the back end here as Blizzard there gets it just about right through the DRS zone. And Blizzard there locking up as we head now through the last part of the track. Now I'm wondering if anybody can name some of the venues that the Spanish Grand Prix has been hosted at. I can give you a clue. There's 5 venues that have hosted the Spanish Grand Prix, and before you say Valencia doesn't count because that was the European Grand Prix. If you can name all 5, I'll give you a shout out. Why not? No googling. See if you can get them all. Blizzard then heading down this long straight then. This used to be a long straight back in the day, before you had the likes of Baku and now Vietnam coming very soon onto the calendar. This used to be a long straight, now it's just average. As Blizzard now makes his way around turn 3, this long right-hander. Watch out for that green AstroTurf on the left-hand side. It can really catch you out. Using that curve there as we head through turn 4. And you can see there, Blizzard just careful on the throttle as he exits that corner, making our way now down towards turn 5. You can hear a little bit of a lock up there as Blizzard now takes to the AstroTurf. And coming now through that slide kink of turn 6, through 7 and 8. This is the part I was talking about at the start of the street. You can see the back end just squirming there. It wants to lose control of the car as we know up the hill towards turn 9. And you've got to be careful about using that left-hand side of the track. You can invalidate your lap time very easily. We head now downhill towards turn 10. A heavy braking zone, the heaviest on the track, as we now head up the hill through turn 11 and turn 12. That curb on the left-hand side of turn 11 can easily catch you out. Watch out for that one in the race. Now heading through turn 13. Watch that sausage curve on the inside there. It can send you airborne. And Blizzard now making his way through 14 and 15 as we now make our way towards the pit lane. Not having turn 16, and Blizzard abandons that lap time. Meanwhile, though, Squeezy sets a clean lap time, and he goes top of the table with a 1:23.2 and sets the benchmark for the other drivers. Damien is out on track. He's currently going through the slight kink of turn 6 as we get slightly on the grass there as we head through 7 and 8 and then up the hill towards turn 9. You can see Lambo pull over to the side there as Ollie P goes top. A 1:20.1 from Ollie P in that Red Bull. Sean beats him and on those medium tyres sets a 1:19.3. So good lap from Sean then. He'll be hoping to add to his 1 podium already this season as Frank in the Renault now goes with a 1:18.2. And let's see what those drivers are setting, or what tyres those drivers are setting the lap times on. You should see Frank there on the soft tyres a 1:18.2, Ollie on super softs a 1:20.1, Sean a 1:19.3 on the mediums. We've also got Plaster there a 1:20.1, just shy, around about 200th of a second shy of Ollie P's lap time there. Siege with a 1:20.2 on the hardest possible tyre. Steph there in 6th on a 1:20.6. And Squeezy's lap time was a bit of a banker there. That's Lambo, I think, taken to the grass there. Was that Lambo? It was. So a bizarre one from Lambo. He seemed to just cut across the grass. Never mind them. He's now making his way down now. You can see very late going up towards 8th gear as now head through turns 1 and 2. Up the hill we go then towards turn 3, and I wonder if we are going to see someone go and launch it round the outside as we climb the hill. And Ollie there with a 1:18.1, just pips Frank there on those medium tyres, so good lap time from him. Expect those lap times to tumble though, well into the 1:16s if we're lucky. If we're lucky to see someone go onto the softest tyre possible, those super soft tyres. Maybe we might be able to see that then. The Gort, 1:18.6, putting himself up there. Siege with a 1:18.613, qualifying at the moment, the Gort, by 600ths of a second. We've got Litinho out on track, just about starting his flying lap now, as he makes his way through 1, 2 and 3, this complex section here. Like I said at the start of the stream, expect action to come through here. We've seen in real F1 in 2016 Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg come together just before turn 4, and it handed well, what should have been a Ferrari win, but Max Verstappen came and got his first ever Formula 1 race win. I doubt we're going to see that much drama heading towards turn 4, but you never know. You just never know. As Litinho now makes his way up towards turn 9, turn the car in and just hope it sticks, as that's the Williams there coming through your picture, as Litinho makes his way down towards turn 10. As I said, a very heavy braking zone down there. Watch the exit then as Ollie goes faster once again, a 118.0 to put him at the top of the table right now. As he makes his way now through turns 13, then through 14 and 15, before making his way around the final corner of turn 16. But he's now making his way into the pit lane. And, well, Litinho backing out of that lap then. Clifford on the medium tyres. Let's see where he is. He's now coming towards turn 5. I believe he is on a flying lap, as you can see by the battery. It's on mode 5, so he's going full attack here. He's making his way through turn 7 and 8, up that hill towards turn 9. You've got to watch the rear tyres at this track especially, because especially going through turn 8, if you're willing to spin up the tyres, as Clifford sets it down to mode 0 on his battery, backing out of the lap. If you are not careful with those rear tyres, they will let go on you, as well as the front, I believe it's the front left-hand tyre, if I'm not mistaken, especially with turn 3 and turn 9. That front left tyre is going to take a bit of a beating around this track. Clifford then, is he going to try again or come back to the pits? It looks like he's going to try again. Still in mode 0 though, as he makes his way towards the line. This looks like a banker lap, and it would have been, but he had the lap time invalidated then. So as we make our way towards turns 1, 2 and 3, riding on board with the other Force India, of course Blizzard still in the pit lane, yet to set a proper lap time. That's Jay up ahead of Clifford, and making his way now towards turn 4, using that curb on the left hand side to try and open up the corner as much as possible. He's just sticking now to the outside, heading now downhill towards turn 5. Careful not to lock the brakes, it's very easy to do going into turn 5. Then through this slight kink of turn 6, as we make our way towards turn 7 and 8, up the hill we go, and again that back end just isn't stable. And now heading up the hill through turn 9, flying up the hill. Got to be careful there as Clifford loses the car just very slightly, gets onto the grass, keeps in control of the car though, and still attacking on this lap then. He's still in mode 5, so he's still going for it. Only a little bit of deployment left in that battery he's allowed to have for the lap. As we now make our way towards turn 13 now. This right-hander that's slightly off camber, down towards the chicane of turns 14 and 15. You can see there Clifford using those curbs, try and make the corners as wide as possible. But I think he's dived into the pits, and yes he has. So quite a few drivers backing out of lap times. You can see Blizzard there, now onto a set of medium tyres. And I wonder just how many drivers we're actually going to see on a set of super soft tyres. The only drivers in the top 10 at the moment who have set a lap time on super soft tyres are Ollie and Plaster, as Poe sets a 1:17.9 on a set of medium tyres. And if that's the pace on the medium tyres, if anyone wants to try the soft or the super soft tyres, well, we could definitely see a 1:15 out of these cars. We have about 8 minutes and 20 seconds left. We've got Spike out on track on a set of medium tyres, I believe that is. He's making his way through the slight kink of 6 and then up the hill through turn 7 and turn 8. As we have a new lap time up there, and it's Lambo, 1:17.994, 200ths of a second off of Poe then. Lambo and Poe fighting all the way to the end of last season, and Lambo has been struggling to find his form, to find his rhythm again this season, but still quite a long way to go in this season. And looking at the points table right now, he is currently in 14th place in the championship as Frank goes top with a 1:17.2 on the super soft tyres, the softest possible compound we have at the Circuit de Catalunya. So of course, if you know about the challenge I set, there are 5 venues where the Spanish Grand Prix has been hosted. Dead giveaway what one of them is. I'll give you a clue, it's this one. But can you name the other 4? And before you ask, Valencia doesn't count because that's the European Grand Prix. Blizzard then sets a 1:17.5, and that's 3/10 off of Frank on 2 set harder tyres. So that's impressive from the front runners as he takes a trip across the Sleven policeman there, and around turn 3, making his way back to the pits. Steph there, 119.2. We've got Litinho with a 119.4 there, as he makes his way on to start a new lap. And I wonder what tyre he's on. He's on the medium tyres, so no, he's backed out of it. So it's a 119.4 from Litinho. Alan Kay there in the pit lane has set a 120.5. Ollie, who is now on a set of soft tyres. I wonder if he backed out of his super soft lap to see if he can set a lap on a harder set of tyres. Now, here's the thing about qualifying. Do you prioritise a fast lap time but be on some tyres that may not be up to scratch? Or do you just prioritise strategy, risk going into the top 10 on a harder set of tyres, but have that potential of going further into the race? And what do we think for predictions? Who will get the race win here at the Spanish Grand Prix? We do have, of course, a tight battle at the top. There's one driver I have to talk about, is Clifford, who is in the pit lane at the moment. Clifford, 4th place, 32 points. It's been a good start to the season for him, and I wonder if we can keep up this form. And that's Ollie P there, getting very wild on the exit of turn 12 there, and as he makes his way through the chicane, as Alan Kay has retired from the session. As we see Ollie P making his way down this long straight, and he goes P11, 119.039 on a harder set of tyres that he set originally. So he's still outside of the top 10, so that's not going to help him too much there. He needs to find more time to get himself into that top 10. Shadow saying, I swear Blizzard's in every race he watches. Well, he may well be, but he has lost the championship lead. The gap is only 2 points at the moment between him and Poe, who you can see there is in 3rd place at the moment. Frank, though, tops the tables at the Spanish Grand Prix for qualifying. 4 minutes and 50 seconds to go in this one. And if Frank can hold on to pole position, it might spice up that battle at the front there, as we're still watching Ollie make his way down towards turn 10. That's Ollie P, mind. We have 2 Ollies in this one. Clifford then on towards a new lap, and I believe he's on the soft tyres. Yes, he is. He backed out of his original qualifying lap as we head through turns 1 and 2. As you can see there, Clifford didn't quite get turn 1 absolutely right. It seemed like he understeered into the corner. Now, whether he's not running a lot of front aero there is I'm not entirely sure, but he's heading towards turn 4 then, just looking to get some sort of lap time on the board. He will have enough time to come back and put on a new set of tyres, but he's cutting it fine at the moment. We see here Clifford then making his way through turn 9 and running a little bit wide, and I wonder how many drivers are going to push that curb and find themselves in the wall on the right hand side. Clifford making his way through turn 10. Mays is also retired as he's qualified P7 on a set of super soft tyres. Ollie has gone top, a 117.2 on a set of soft tyres, so he's just about pipped Frank there at the top of the table. And as Clifford makes his way through 13 and 14, making his way around the final corner, and then as we head on towards the start-finish straight, Clifford with the DRS open. Can he improve? Yes, he can. A 118.3, which puts him into P7. Well, let's have a look and see who else is on a flying lap. Is that Steph there? Is making his way around the track. He's on a set of soft tyres, hoping to get higher up the field and see if he can get in towards the top 10. That's a McLaren up ahead of, is that Squeezy? No, it's Litinho. Squeezy is out there on a new set of soft tyres. We've got, let's have a look. Frank is on an outlap, Poe outlap, Jay is on an outlap. Expect Lambo and Blizzard to come out later on in the session. We've got the Gort out there as well on a set of soft tyres as he's making his way through the chicane here, through turn 12. And now towards turn 13, down the hill, very easy to lock up, very easy to hit that sausage curve on the inside as we head through turns 14 and 15, making our way around the final corner. And can the Gort improve on his lap time then? He can. The Gort goes P5 on a set of soft tyres as Ollie there retires from the session. So maybe he realised he didn't have enough time to come back out and set a new lap. So that's him done for the day then. Jay coming towards the line. What's he going to do? I'll tell you what he's going to do. He's going to start a flying lap. That's exactly what Jay's going to do then, as he now heads down towards turn 1. Squeezy then going top, 117.233. So good lap from Squeezy then to put him top. But this is not over, not by a long shot. We've got Blizzard out there on soft tyres. Poe is also out there on soft tyres. The Gort, Poe's teammate, has set his lap time. He's not going to have enough time to make it back to the pits and put on a new set of tyres. So that is the Gort's qualifying session done. We've got Lambo here also on an out lap. Clifford has retired from the session, currently P10. He can't get any higher than that at the moment. Siege out there, I believe, on soft tyres. Yes, he is. And you'll see here some of the drivers, in fact, most of the drivers in the top 10, now wanting to go out on a set of soft tyres to see if they can not only get quicker, but start on a better strategy. Here we go then, Siege making his way through the final couple of corners, through 14, then 15. And then coming towards turn 16, can Siege improve? Can he get into the top 10 round the final corner? DRS wide open as he makes his way towards the line. And yes, he can. P5 for Siege in that Williams. Good lap from him then. It's a 117.8. And Blizzard here on to start his lap with 44 seconds remaining. Poe then, I believe he is on a flying lap as he makes his way towards the line. What can Poe do? P6. It's only P6 from Poe then. So that is his session over then, and the highest he'll get is P6. We've got Jay on a flying lap then. He's left it late as the Ferrari out there now. We've got Frank on a flying lap. He's on soft tyres, but he's abandoned the lap, and he got caught up there in turn 1. So he had to take evasive action then. I don't think he'll be too happy with that one. Blizzard on a flying lap as he now heads his way around turn 9. And running a little bit wide there, as that is Spike in the middle of the track then. So that is Spike. I reckon he's lost it on that curb of turn 9. I was wondering when a driver was going to do that in this session, and it looks like that's what's happened to Spike then. Blizzard coming around turn 12. We've got to watch out for Squeezy as well, who is also on a flying lap. He's a 10th up, but Lambo goes top. 116.8 from Lambo. Breaks into the 116s, the first person to do so. We've got Blizzard on a flying lap. Here he comes towards the line. Can Blizzard go better? Yes, he can. A 116.5. Blizzard goes top of the table at the moment then. Squeezy making his way around. Jay couldn't improve on his position. He was able to improve his lap time by 3/100ths of a second, but it wasn't enough to get him up the table. With Squeezy there trying to make his way around the final corner. He's a 10th up on his previous best. It's not going to be good enough to improve though, and it's not. He sets a faster lap time. He finds 2/10, but it is 3rd place for Squeezy then as Sean comes across the line. He'll grab P13 in the session then. So the Spanish Grand Prix qualifying is complete, and Blizzard takes pole position for the Spanish Grand Prix. So then, let's have a look at the qualifying results in full then. Hopefully it'll be with us in just a short moment's time. Here it is then, Blizzard on pole position by 2/10 of a second from Lambo. Then it's Squeezy, Ollie, Frank on the super soft tyres. Jay, Poe, Siege in 8th, the Gort in 9th, Latino in 10th. Then outside the top 10 we've got Clifford in 11th, Mays in 12th, Sean 13th, Steph 14th, Ollie 15th, Plaster 16th, Alan K 17th. Damien and Spike did not set a time during the session, but because Damien did go out onto track to start some sort of lap, he starts ahead of Spike. So once again, Spike not getting that qualifying he needs, and will be starting from the back of the grid. So then let's have your predictions then for the winner of the Spanish Grand Prix. Will the championship lead change once again? Will we have a new championship leader at the end of this race? Well, whoever wins out of Poe or Blizzard, they'll be the championship leader going to Monaco, and that's going to be an interesting one. The tip with Monaco is keep your front wing intact. You might have a good chance. Here at Spain, though, there's a little bit more space out on track. The walls aren't as close, so you've got a good chance here of scoring some points if you just keep it on the track. Like I said, you need that balanced car, one that could get through the corners and one that can get you along that long straight going towards turn 1. As we're waiting now to grid up for the Spanish Grand Prix, we'll have a look at everybody's strategy and what we're going to be seeing in just a few short moments. So here we go then, for the formation lap. Blizzard will lead Lambo and Squeezy, as that is your top 3. So Squeezy in 3rd place in the championship will be hoping for a good result today. And Poe starting in P7. So that is not what he wanted at all. He's still in with a shout then, but he's got to dispatch of drivers in between him. That's Jay in front of him, Frank and Ollie, who will have to dispatch of quickly if he's going to have a chance of catching Blizzard early on. 33 laps here at the Spanish Grand Prix at the Circuit de Catalunya, and Blizzard will be slowly taking them round. Obviously he doesn't want to use any of that ERS, he doesn't want to cool down his tyres or brakes on that starting line, so he's just got to be careful about how he plays this. So as you were then with the top 10, all starting on the tyres they set their fastest lap on in qualifying. That puts Frank on a set of super soft tyres. Now watch out for him in the race. He's going to have a good amount of grip to start with, but you'll see around 5 or 6 laps in, those tyres will drop off completely. So he's got to be careful about what tyres he chooses. Don't be shocked to see him go onto a set of medium tyres early on in this race and see if he can make a one-stop work. Outside the top 10, we've got Clifford on a set of medium tyres, Maze on a set of softs. Joining him is Sean in P13 and Steph in P14. Ollie is starting on medium tyres in P15, Plaster in P16 on soft tyres. Joining him are P17, Alan Kay, and Damien in P18, and Spike starting at the back of the grid on a set of medium tyres. As I try and adjust my mic there to make sure it's not pretty much in my mouth. Hopefully that sounds a little better as Blizzard now makes its way around the final corner very slowly as the AI takes control, and you might even see them do a little bit of a burnout before they head to their grid slots. But TTL is brought to you by weakwifi-solutions.com. It's also brought to you and sponsored by fatalgrips.com. Use TTL F1 at the checkout for a 10% discount across your entire order. We are moments away from the Spanish Grand Prix, live on TTTV F1. So as we wait now for the 5 red lights to come on, moments away from the Spanish Grand Prix. And who will get the best start as the 5 lights come on? Round 5 is underway, and what are the starts like? Looks like Blizzard's got a decent start off the line, and Lambo's going to have to try and cover off Squeezy as we head now down towards turn 1. Look out for Jay then, as Alan Kay's retired from the session then, as we head towards turn 1 for the first time. Can everybody keep it clean as we head through turn 2 and then through turn 3? We've got someone off the track there on the right hand side. Jay meanwhile has made a way past Frank then, as we head now towards turn 4 for the very first time. Blizzard still leads the way then from Lambo, Squeezy, Ollie, Jay and Poe, who's made good progress up the field. Then Frank has struggled on those super soft tyres to start with. He's down to P7. And further behind them we've got Litinho and Siege battling away for position on the exit of turn 5 as we head towards turn 6 and then up the hill towards turn 7 and 8 for the very first time. Everybody looks like they're facing the right way to start with, apart from Alan Kay. Not sure what happened to Alan, but he's out of the Spanish Grand Prix very early on. Watch out for those drivers as they go really wide through turn 9 there as we now head down towards turn 10. That's a Williams who was trying to have a look up the inside of Steph there. That was Sean there, and Spike has moved up to P14 on those medium tyres. It's a good start from him so far, as the first lap of the Spanish Grand Prix is almost complete. Then Blizzard rounding the final few corners to stay in the lead here. Lambo in 2nd, Squeezy 3rd, Ollie 4th, Jay 5th, Poe 6th, Frank in 7th, The Gort in 8th, Litinho 9th, Siege 10th, Clifford 11th, Steph 12th, Sean 13th, Spike 14th, Ollie P 15th, Maze 16th, Blaster 17th, and Damien is the last of the runners in P18 there. We've got Frank here, or sorry, that's Poe, trying to go around the outside of Jay then as we head towards turn 2. Can the two of them keep it clean? Jay runs onto the gravel. Poe gives him plenty of room. Tries to go around the outside of turn 3 there. Taken to the little bit to the green part of the track. But Poe's got the move done before turn 4. And Poe moves into P5 ahead of Jay then. That was a crucial move he needed to start with. We know Jay's quick here. And he's dispatch of one car. Next for him is Ollie. And then after that, Squeezy up ahead of him. He's got to be careful though. Because he will have Jay on his tail for quite some time. Look out for Frank though on those super soft tyres. He is supposed to be quicker on those tyres, but it's all about keeping them in check. It's all about making them last as long as possible. And watch out for that turn 9. Set up a camera there and see if someone loses it on the curb. Because the way the drivers take that, all it takes is for 1% more tyre wear than the driver expects. And that car is going to go right around into the wall. So Blizzard then in car number 4 in that Force India. 1.7 the gap is. He's well out of DRS range now as we head around the final corner to start lap number 3 of the Spanish Grand Prix. Lambo in second, which is a good position for him so far. Squeezy in third with Ollie 4th, Poe 5th and Jay in 6th. As we see the Red Bull here under pressure from Poe. Is he going to try and move up the inside? No, he doesn't. He decides to wait for a bit then as we head through turn 2 and then around through turn 3. You can see Podon piling on the pressure on Ollie. Our championship leader so far is struggling a little bit, but he's got time in this race. The only problem is the person he's got to catch is Blizzard up ahead, who's got a 1.8 second lead over Lambo. The Gort, meanwhile, is trying to make a move on Frank, and are Frank's tyres just wearing out right from the very start here. Because that looks like what's happening right now as Poe looking up the inside of turn 7. Not a conventional overtaking zone as we head through turn 9 now. And watch out for Frank and the Gort then as we make our way down towards turn 10 with that DRS open. Is the Gort going to have a move up the inside? He thought about it though as we ride on board with Litinho, but not quite got the move done there. It wasn't close enough, I don't think, as the Gort completely misses that curb on the left hand side. Maybe thinking about conserving his tyres there rather than aggressively taking that inside curb then, as Poe is looking, oh sorry, the Gort on Frank here looking aggressive, really trying to use as little of the track as possible there as Frank makes his way around at the final corner, still in P7. The Gort has the DRS, pulls to the right hand side as we make our way down the straight for the 4th time this race then. And looks like the Gort then has the move done, and Litinho could have a move here. Up the inside into turn 1, and Litinho gets past. Frank loses 2 positions in one corner then as he runs wide at turn 2. And then at turn 3, oh, it's such a long way around from him. He's going to lose so many positions as he stays off the track then. And that is 2 Williams battling together then. And that looks like all contact between Siege and Frank then, as Frank goes wide once again. Onto the grass he goes. And that is, well, Frank, I'm not entirely sure if he lost it, if he just overcooked it going into turn 2 there, but it just meant that he was so slow going through there, had to run wide, lost all of those positions. He was 7th place a moment ago. He's now down to P14. Here comes Poe up the inside of Ollie then, in towards turn 10. And that is well, that's Jay up the inside there, going into turn 10. Trying to make a move past Ollie, but it didn't happen. So he has to stay behind then. And Poe, that was another crucial move he's made now. Up to P4 he goes, and making his way through the final chicane. Next up is Squeezy. And we all know what Squeezy can do when he's defending. So Poe has got to try and find his way around him, but he's not done yet. Ollie is still in that DRS range. He's still in the slipstream. Ollie could have another go here as Frank comes into the pits to try and get rid of those tyres. You can see that Ollie was closing on Poe, but backed out of any move going into turn 1 there as we now head through turn 3. As Sean and Spike are battling it out for position. Then Sean desperately trying to hold on to P12. Spike, meanwhile, is on the medium tyres and ready to try and take P12 away. Right behind Sean then as we head towards turn 4. Spike has the inside line and he's take that curb on the inside as well and try and close the door on the Williams then as we head towards turn 5. Sean, though, still up the inside, and Spike's got to leave him the room then. But he'll have the better traction on the exit of turn 5 as we head through turn 6. He's going to be on the outside for turn 7 here. Does he have to back out of the corner? No, he's going to stick it in there because it comes the inside for turn 8. And as we head through turn 9, Spike is up a position and is past Sean. Great move there from Spike. Just managed to stick the car in there. Hoped it sticks, and it did indeed. Spike is now up to P12. His next target is Siege, who between him and Steph. That's the only 2 drivers he needs to get into the points, but he'll want more than points today. He'll want good points today. And we haven't seen any sort of safety car this season so far, as my voice decides to give up on me there. No safety car this season so far. So it'll be interesting to see if the safety car is deployed at any point in this race. It might be a saving grace here. Here comes Jay then, round the outside of Ollie, as we head towards turn 1. Now up the inside of turn 2. Has Jay got the move done? Yes, he has. Or has he? As we go round the outside of turn 3. As Ollie's still trying to stick it up the inside. He might have the inside line for turn 4, but decides to back out of the move. Meanwhile then, Clifford has got past Litinho. Clifford now up to P8 as Litinho runs a little bit wide on the entry of turn 4 there, and that might cost him a little bit of time. But Spike then is now trying to find a way past Siege, and he has done. So Spike then up to P11 on those medium tyres. Remember, he's making good progress now. Next target is Steph for him, and that'll be a chance to get back into the points. The Gort, meanwhile, is closing in on Ollie as we head through turn 9. And you heard there, the Gort just clipping the gravel there on the exit of turn 9 as we head our way down towards turn 10. And not a great camera angle in the world. So Ollie's out. Ollie P is out of the race, and he's lost it on the curb. You can see. Oh, disaster for Ollie P. He's caught that curb on the left-hand side and gone straight to the scene of the accident. Ollie P in the Red Bull is out of the Spanish Grand Prix. Meanwhile, his teammate Ollie, or the other Ollie that is trying to make his way past Jay. He's got that DRS and safety car deployed. Oh, the curse of the commentator strikes again as the first safety car of the season is deployed here at the Spanish Grand Prix. Lap number 7. And the virtual Burt Mylander makes his debut this season. Blizzard leads then from Lambo, Squeezy, Poe, Jay, Ollie, the Gort, Clifford, Litinho, Steph, Spike, Siege, Sean, Plaster, Maze and Damien take advantage of this one. They've come straight into the pits. An ongoing set of medium tyres for Maze, Damien in the pits as well. So they're looking to try and take advantage of what basically becomes a free pit stop. Damien is the first pit box there, of course. He's driving in that Mercedes. Ongoing set of medium tyres and away he goes. But this changes the race completely then. So what happens now? Those drivers on the soft tyres may be wanting to switch over to mediums. It's too early to say though. Definitely too early to say. So Ollie P's crash deploys the safety car and the first one of the season. It's amazing really. We didn't have one safety car at Baku. But we've got one here at Spain. Why not? So this will bunch the field up. And Spike then, it will give him a chance to catch his breath as he's now up to P11. So a chance now to cool down those tyres. The only problem with running on the hardest possible tyre under the safety car is you have to keep those tyres warm. The only problem is you're going at a reduced speed. So any heat you can get into the tyres is crucial because on the restart you're slightly more vulnerable than the soft tyre runners. So Blizzard then making his way down the straight. Of course, remember, before they get to the safety car, they have to keep to a delta. If they exceed that delta, they'll be speeding under the safety car and will be penalised. Jay, Ollie and Litinho into the pits then. A very busy pit lane this is going to become. We've also got Siege and Sean in as well. So a very busy pit lane as the Ferrari of Jay just about rejoins. But that's the Red Bull of Ollie in the pit lane being held now as so many cars come through. Bad timing for Ollie then, but under the safety car it shouldn't matter too much. He should rejoin behind Jay. But that's a McLaren of Litinho has jumped him in the pits. So Litinho and the McLaren crew have done a good job there to get him ahead. But Frank then on those soft tyres will be able to try and keep them in nick then. He did try and race Siege down to the end of the pit lane. Of course, that white line there at the end of the pit lane is when you rejoin the track again. So that's when you have to respect the delta. You can overtake before that white line if you're coming out of the pit lane, because technically you're not part of the main track. That's how Sebastian Vettel did it back in, I believe it was 2016 at the Chinese Grand Prix. Because the pit lane isn't defined as the racing track, you can actually make any overtakes in the pit lane. So lap 8 of this Grand Prix, and there is the safety car, our first one of the season, as Blizzard leads the way as we slowly make our way down towards turn 10. Well, a dramatic start so far, and well, with our first safety car of the season comes our first real chance to catch our breath and
See if we can spot any battles going on. Of course, Jay, Litinho, Ollie and Siege have all come in to put on a set of medium tyres, as has Maze, Sean, Plaster and Damien, all running now on the medium tyres for what I can only assume will be to the end of the race. So the safety car will do at least one more lap around the track. And as you can see, this bunches the field all up again. It's interesting then. Oh, the Gort's come in. The Gort's into the pit lane then, as he makes his way in. So this is a chance then for the Gort to put on a set of medium tyres. Now, the only problem with pitting now is he's going to find himself well down the order from where he was originally. I think he pitted from P7. So in he comes then, and on go a set of medium tyres for the Haas driver. Away he goes, but you can see now, Sean comes into the pits. Ah, I see what Sean's done. I think I see what Sean's done. Either he's put on the wrong tyre or he's used all 3 tyres now. Either way, he's coming to the pits again and put on a set of medium tyres. Away he goes again. So those on the medium tyres right now, who've just pitted to put them on, will be hoping to run to the end of the race. So then Blizzard, obviously we will know as soon as the drivers know when the safety car will be coming in. But you can see Lambert there is really eager for Blizzard to catch back up to the safety car again. And of course that safety car will be going at full pace to try and reach these speeds of 180, 190 kph. And Blizzard getting very close to the safety car there. He doesn't want to get too close, because if you make contact with the safety car, it's an instant black flag, instant disqualification. As Ollie's out. Ollie's out under the safety car. He's crashed. Oh my word, what happened there? Well, the safety car's in this lap with the car still stricken on the track. And Blizzard now will bunch the pack up. He now becomes the safety car as we wait now for that safety car line, which is just before the chicane. Or it's just after, I mean. So he'll have to prioritise his exit of turn 15 here. But when does Blizzard go for it? You can see the safety car still is yet to come into the pit lane, so they can't really go until the safety car has entered the pit lane. And you can see there Blizzard doing some last minute warming up of the tyres. And is he gone for it? I think he has. He's turned the battery up to 5 and away he goes. So the DRS is enabled straight away. And you can see then, and it's disabled once again. At Sector 3 we've got problems. Who's that? That's Siege around. What happened there? Siege has gone straight around from what I can only assume would have been the restart, and now finds himself at the back of the field. Meanwhile then, Squeezy has managed to get past Lambo into turn 1. Lambo caught napping, and Squeezy takes second place away as Frank's now out of the session. Frank is out, and I don't know if he's retired in the pit lane. We're scrolling through now to see Steph going up the inside of Clifford then as we head through turn 4. And Steph, does he have the move done? Yes, he does. Up to P5, Steph goes, and coming in towards turn 5 now, towards turn 6. Steph has got the move done. Now watch out for Spike. He's now up to P7 with everyone making pit stops under the safety car. Remember, he still has to stop. Still has to make a mandatory stop onto those soft tyres because he hasn't used them yet. And as you can see, yellow flags in Sector 1. Now Plaster's gone. Plaster's out of the race now. What is going on in this race? We've had a restart and 3 cars have retired since then. Well, Blizzard then has been keeping his cool then. He still leads the race. Squeezy in second, Lambo third, with Poe in fourth. Then this battle for P5 between Steph, Clifford, Spike, who's now joining the battle for P6. And you've also got Jay behind them, only a second behind. Remember, it'll take 3 laps after the safety car before DRS is re-enabled. And Spike here may not need the DRS here because he's closing in on Clifford very quickly here. Towards turn 1, can Spike have an opportunity? He's looking down the inside, thought about the move. Clifford left the door open, but Spike did not want to take that risk. As we've got the Gort here, side by side with Maze. We know how much respect those two have for each other. And the Gort gets past for P11. Gets past the Renault of Maze. As we see Spike here, making his way through turn 4 now. And you can see in that slipstream of Clifford, that's going to give him the dirty air through these high-speed sections as we head now towards turn 5 on the exit there. Meanwhile, Siege is making the best of a recovery drive. He's up to P13, 3 seconds now behind Maze. So he's got to do his best. There's Clifford there. Goes across the track, made a mistake. And Spike has sensed his opportunity. He smelled blood here. And can he take full advantage as we head down towards turn 10? Clifford is compromised. Here comes Spike then up the inside. Clifford leaves the door open. Up the inside, Spike goes. He's got to get that traction right as we head towards turn 12 and turn 13. And that's Jay trying to go up the inside. And he spun himself around. Trying to go up the inside of Clifford there. Clipped that side pod and round he goes. A Ferrari spinning with the front end being hit. Where have you seen that before? And Jay goes down to P10 and the Gort is now right behind him. So Blizzard then crossing the line, and that means DRS is enabled. There's been 3 laps since the safety car has been in, and that means DRS will now be re-enabled. So the first place they can try that is the straight between turns 9 and turn 10. But Lambo here is not letting Squeezy out of his sights. The longer though that Lambo is behind Squeezy, the worse it's going to get for him, because this allows Blizzard to get that lead he needs. There's Poe in 4th place, by the way, on a set of soft tyres. Of course, the top 7 still have to stop. And Litinho has already made his stop under the safety car. So he'll be looking to try and go to the end of the race now. So he can't let that gap really get beyond 23 to 26 seconds. That's really how long it takes in the pit lane at the Spanish Grand Prix. You can see Lambo opening up that DRS here as we head towards turn 10. Nothing doing yet. Here comes Spike now on a charge, trying to get past Steph. He's trying to go around the outside, believe it or not. And we now make our way up towards turn 12 and then through turn 13. Both drivers have been on these tyres since the start of the race. The difference is Steph's on the soft tyres, Spike is on the medium. And you can see there's Steph running wide on the exit of turn 13 as we now round our way through turn 16, and we've got Squeezy's into the pits. So Squeezy comes in then for his one and only stop on lap 13. Here comes Spike then, who goes to the left-hand side. You can see Steph trying to close that gap, but it's too late. Spike is around the outside and gets the move done into turn 1, round the outside. A great move from Spike. Steph tried to do his defending, but it was too late. Spike gets the move done, and Steph down to P5. Siege, meanwhile, on a charge. He's got past Maze. He's really kept his head down since that spin. What caused the spin, I'm not entirely sure. But the only difference is that, well, Siege is just getting on with it. He may be angry, he may be frustrated, but he's now back up to P11 after that incident under the safety car. Whether he spun on his own or not, I'm not entirely sure. We've also got to find out what happened to Ollie, who crashed out under the safety car. A bizarre incident there, just before the safety car came in. But, well, obviously with Squeezy pitting in, he rejoins behind Maze down in P13, and I wonder if he's pitted slightly too early, because what this allows the others to do is have a little bit of clean air. You can see Poe closing in on Lambo now as Lambo comes in. So Lambo into the pits then. So for his one and only stop, that'll promote Poe up to P2. Blizzard's still out there. Lambo then making his way down the pit lane. And here he comes into the pit lane. Medium tyres, I'm assuming, are going to go on. And indeed they do. Meanwhile then, battle on track. We're seeing Steph trying to defend from Clifford then, as Steph defended that inside line and Clifford couldn't find a way past. Meanwhile then, Jay is trying to recover from that earlier spin, and he's got past Sean there. Goes round the outside of turn 3, or takes an outside line I should say, going through turn 3. He's got the move done though, and Sean is overtaken by Jay then. Jay up to P7. We've also got Clifford battling away with Steph here. Steph loses that back end on the exit of turn 5 as they head through the slight kink of turn 6. Steph closing the door on the entry into turn 7, but he's made a little mistake going through the curve of turn 8 then. As we now head our way through, you can see Clifford there really struggling with that dirty air. He gets a little bit of gravel on his tyres, and that could be the difference between making turn 10 and not making it, as he almost runs into the back of Steph there. Just about got his braking right. You can see there Steph is struggling with his tyres. Maybe they're coming towards the end of their life. Litinho, meanwhile, who has made his one and only stop, he thinks, as we make our way towards turn 13, is looking to try and dispatch these two as quickly as possible. He's got the DRS zone to do it. He's got to take his time. And the German here making his way around the final corner. Poe and Blizzard are in, so that hands the lead to Spike then, as we're seeing this three-way battle for what is now P2. As the two leaders come in, here comes Clifford then. Will he try and move to the left-hand side to try and go around the outside of Steph then as we head towards turn 1? And Clifford gets the inside line for turn 2, and he's got the move done. Steph falls to P3. Clifford moves up, but Steph runs wide on the exit of turn 3 as we head towards turn 4. That's going to invite Lightinho to apply a bit of pressure. Meanwhile, Blizzard has rejoined behind Maze and, crucially, behind Squeezy. So there is Lambo there, who's trying to make a move down into turn 4. Has he got the move done? I changed camera too quickly there. As Lambo goes up the inside. Yes, he has. Saw an opportunity and took it. Lambo has passed Blizzard on track. And he's now got Maze ahead of him. Lambo with a great move there. Slightly risky there, but it paid off. And he's in front of the Force India here. Meanwhile, Steph and Lightinho battling away. Lightinho goes off track. Nowhere for him to go. He's up the inside now as he has to back out of the move. And that's going to invite the pressure from Jay then to go round the outside. But nothing doing there as these two are battling now. These three, I should say. Lambo, Blizzard and Maze. And Maze will feel like he's rather been bullied out of the way there. But Lambo and Blizzard now up one place, I should say. That's someone coming into the pits. And that's Lightinho, is it? No, it's Steph. Steph coming into the pits then. We're seeing Jay now putting some pressure on Lightinho. Both these drivers have made their one and only stop under the safety car. Jay pulls a dummy, tries to go right, then goes left, and now tries to cut back through turn 2, and he might get a cut back through turn 3. Lightinho's lost it though. Loses that back end very slightly, and that one mistake allows Jay to push through and take P3 away. Lightinho, meanwhile, wants to try and find the outside line, couldn't quite find it, and the Gort then is being invited into this battle now. And that's Lightinho here, trying to go up the inside in towards turn 5. And Jay and Lightinho battling away for position. A little bit of a wheel bang there as we head through the slight kink of turn 6 up towards turn 7. And then through turn 8, 2 into 1. Doesn't go. Just a little bit of contact there from Jay onto Lightinho. It's handed the quarter position. And Jay might feel a little bit vulnerable here down this long, well, short straight, I should say. Here we go then towards turn 10. You can see Jay go defensive into the turn 10 there. Into that left-hander. And the Gort really couldn't go anywhere other than just stay behind for now, as Poe meanwhile makes a move on Maze, but I don't think Maze made that too difficult move. The Gort meanwhile is making his way through the chicane then and around turn 16, and he will have DRS then. As we look at the helicopter camera here, you can see the Gort closing on Jay. Where's Jay going to go? He goes to the right-hand side, so the Gort's going to have to go on the left-hand side, outside of turn number 1, which will become the inside for turn number 2. Does he have the space? Yes, Jay leaves him that space, but runs a little bit wide there. And you can see the battling from Lightinho there, and Jay just about able to hold on from the Gort as Lightinho runs wide, and Jay taking that inside line. You can see the Gort there trying to take a different line, going into turn 4. He's got a different line, which seems to be quicker actually, but he just couldn't find a way past. Squeezy meanwhile gets past Siege into P7. He goes, and Squeezy here with a strategy call might be looking to take a win this season. And the Gort here just still trying to put pressure on Jay as we head through turn 9, and then we go through turn 10. Here comes Siege then, still trying to pull in Squeezy. Squeezy did get past him, but Squeezy at the moment is in a bit of a Williams sandwich here. He's got Sean ahead of him and Siege behind him. Oh, the Gort's off! The Gort's off the track at turn 12. Oh, he makes contact with the Williams. That was Siege there he made contact with. I think Siege got away with no damage whatsoever, but a nightmare for the Gort as he's in the gravel and just looking to try and rejoin safely now, but he's all the way down to P13. So that's going to promote Squeezy up a position. Meanwhile, speaking of Squeezy, he's now got the DRS, and you can see he's running a lower aero setting. And you can see now coming down towards turn 1. Has he got the move done on the Williams driver? Yes, he has. Squeezy now up to P5. It's his teammate ahead of him now, and I can't see his teammate putting up too much of a battle. As the Gort heads to the pits, I believe he's got front wing damage then, as he makes his way down the pit lane. And disaster for the Gort then. Blizzard meanwhile is right on the tail of Lambo as we make our way towards turn 5. You can see a whole train of cars here headed by Lightinho here in that McLaren, and his teammate behind him. I wonder if Lightinho's going to let Squeezy through, and if there's any place he's going to do it, it will be going towards turn 10. And so Squeezy will have the DRS then. Does Lightinho back off going in towards turn 10? No, he doesn't. Holds his line and keeps his teammate behind him. Meanwhile, Blizzard up the inside of Lambo going into turn 10 as we now head through 11 and then through turn 12. As we see here, the two McLarens still battling out for position. That's Sean and Siege caught there in the middle of this, with Blizzard and Lambo behind them. So the Williams here are doing a great job of just holding their ground. They're just looking to score some points here. Squeezy, meanwhile, down the main straight, and it looks like two sets of teammates are swapping positions here. So Squeezy moves ahead of Lightinho. Siege moves up. Oh, and that's a little bit of a squeeze put on there from Sean. Very aggressive defending there as he tries to go up the inside of Blizzard. Then Blizzard has to go around the outside. A little bit of contact between him and the Williams there. And Lambo is able to just sail straight through with those two battling then. As Sean, does he try and move up the inside? No, he won't. Very aggressive there from both parties. But somehow they both made it through okay. We see Siege here, still trying to close the gap on Lightinho. So the teammates switch positions. So Lightinho might find himself to be a little bit of a train here to try and help his teammate as much as possible. As we head through towards turn 9, down towards turn 10, you can see that's the car running very wide there. As that's Blizzard trying to go up the inside of Siege then. And Siege makes a mistake going into turn 10. And you can see now that pressure is being applied. The Force India will try and go around the outside. You can see Lambo breathing down his neck as we head towards turn 13 through 14 and 15. Meanwhile, Clifford is in, as is Spike. So the two runners who started really on the medium tyres have come in to change tyres, which means then Jay is in the lead at the moment, followed by Squeezy, Lightinho, Siege, Blizzard, Lambo there, who's actually under pressure from Sean as we head towards turn 1. So Lambo must have made a mistake coming out of the final chicane there, which of course compromises your speed. And Siege here, you can see, he might run a little bit wide here. Blizzard senses that opportunity, goes up the inside as we head towards turn 4. And Blizzard then gets the move done, and Siege making a mistake. Blizzard able to capitalise. He's now got Lightinho to battle. And we've got yellow flags in Sector 1. That's Steph gone off, I think, in the gravel. As more yellow flags in Sector 1. That's someone up ahead. It's Clifford. Clifford's off up ahead. I wonder if something happened between the two of them, because it looked like Clifford let Steph back through. We see Blizzard now right on the tail of Lightinho as we head towards the inside. Blizzard then towards turn 10, and behind us Lambo making a move on Siege. As Blizzard gets the move done on Lightinho, Lambo gets the move done on Siege. So they're both up a position and ready to try and chase down Squeezy. So then Blizzard up to third place, ready to chase down Squeezy, who is ultimately now a title rival. Lightinho did his best to try and hold back that title rival. He could do the same to Lambo, but he's going to find it difficult down the long straight here. You can see Lightinho didn't get a great exit, and he's going to be vulnerable down here towards turn 1. Lambo will go to the right hand side. It takes the inside line for turn 1, but it will take the outside line for turn 2 if he can't make it work, but he can make it work. Lambo then up to P4, 9/10 behind Blizzard. That was important. Here comes Siege trying to go up the inside, but he caught the grass there, couldn't quite find his way through. Mays then up to P9, by the way, but he may have to stop again. So Clifford now up to P10, Sean and Steph into the pits then, as the Gort came in with that damage in P11 at the moment. We see turn 5 through turn 6. Siege still on the back of Lightinho here, as Blizzard and Lambo made their way through and looking to try and close in on Squeezy. Yellow flags in sectors 1 and 2, and that's Sean out of the race. So where has Sean gone off? We're going to ride with the Gort then, as Siege looks like he's made a move on Lightinho, and can't see Sean just yet. We've got the yellow flags up there, and that's a really odd place to lose it there for Sean. But he's off and he's out of the Spanish Grand Prix. So we're now down to 13 runners in this one. Jay in the lead at the moment. Squeezy in second. There's Blizzard and there's Lambo in your picture. Lightinho was able to hold off from Siege, but as you can see, he's got that yellow light on the dashboard, which means he's low on fuel. He can't make it to the end on his current fuel settings. So that's Siege going up the inside. He won't necessarily know that, but I don't think he'll necessarily care. He goes up the inside into turn 1, and Siege takes that position away. And Litinho actually runs wide. That could be a chance for Spike to go up the inside. Remember, he's on the soft tyres. Watch out for him towards the end of this race then, as we head towards turn 4. A little bit of contact between the two of them, but Spike makes it through and Litinho makes it through as well. No damage to either of them. And Spike then up towards P6. Jay, meanwhile, is under huge pressure from Squeezy then. 0.2 of a second separate them, and Squeezy here right on his tail as he just about kept that car in check. Then Jay is going to stick to the left hand side. Here comes Squeezy now, going round the outside of turn 10. Will Jay leave him the room? He will just about, but in the end there was going to be nowhere for him to go, as we see here Spike trying to go up the inside, locking up as he goes up the inside of Siege, then makes that move stick, and now Spike is up to P5. Lambo is his next target then, and you can see the top 5 are all going to converge on themselves. As we head around the final corner for the 22nd time to start lap 23, we will have 11 laps of the Spanish Grand Prix to go. It's now or never for Squeezy, surely, as he makes his way towards turn 1. He's going to try the left-hand side this time as we head towards turn 1, and he's got the move done before the braking zone. Squeezy retakes the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix, but Jay is going to fight with him. He runs a little bit wide on the entry of turn 2, and that's cost him half a second already. So Blizzard will be next up then. Maze comes into the pits just as I expected. I didn't think he was going to make those tyres last to the end of the race. But we see here Blizzard still trying to close in as Jay is still trying to close in. We've got Poe there who came in once again. Now I didn't see that happen. Poe is in on go a new set of soft tyres. He's rejoined in 9th place. So that is a disaster for Poe then, with 11 laps to go. So Litinho here has dropped to P7. He's done 15 laps on those tyres, as has Siege. And they're looking to try and get to the end of the race on those tyres. They pitted under the safety car. I wonder how early that was in their pit window for them to pit. And can they make it to the end without their tyres falling apart altogether? Squeezy then coming around at the final corner as we start lap 24. 10 laps to go here at the Spanish Grand Prix at the Circuit de Catalunya. And we've got Jay under pressure from Blizzard then. 6/10 is the gap as we head down towards turn 1. And you can see Jay really under pressure here through turn 2 and now through turn 3. You can see Blizzard here going to have more grip. He's on 7 lap younger tyres. And Blizzard here making his way towards turn 4, using that curb on the left hand side. Jay covering him off, making sure he can't get past. Making that move, making Blizzard working hard for that move as Jay moves across again towards turn 5. And on the exit there, Blizzard's got to be careful. We head through turn 6 and then through turn 7. And Jay's tyres here may start to fall off very soon because he's been on those tyres for 16 laps now. And you can see Blizzard having to lift off with that dirty air. And with those medium tyres, will he try and move up the inside? Yes, he will. Here he goes then. Blizzard down the inside in towards turn 10. Jay has the room on the outside, but can't quite make it stick though. Blizzard takes 2nd place away from Jay. And Blizzard now 1.6 behind Squeezy. As Blizzard looks to try and make amends for last time out at Baku. Crashing out from the lead of the race. 2nd place now as we make our way around the final corner. Lap 25 will start now. 9 laps to go as Jay looks to try and hold on for as long as he possibly can. He's in a podium scoring position right now, but I wonder how long that's going to last then as we head towards turn 1 for the 25th time here at the Circuit de Catalunya. So whilst I've got a little bit of breathing space, then Squeezy is in the lead, Blizzard in 2nd, Jay is in 3rd, Lambo is in 4th there, Spike in 5th on the soft tyres, watch out for him, Siege in 6th, Litinho is in 7th place, Clifford is in 8th, Poe in 9th, Maze in 10th place, the Gort is in 11th, Steph in 12th, and Dane in the last of the runners, currently in P13. Jay 0.8 of a second behind Blizzard. But through the corners you'll see that that gap extends. And we make our way down towards turn 10. Into that heavy braking zone. This is where all of the energy is recovered. But you can see Lambo is closing in. And we come around turn 12 towards turn 13. And you can see here Lambo is really closing in on Jay as we make our way through 14, then 15, and then on our way around turn 16. as Lambo looks to try and get in that slipstream with the DRS open. He's got Blizzard up ahead. 1.6 is the gap between himself and Blizzard. Lambo knows he has to make this move, and as quickly as possible he'll dart to the left hand side, take the outside line for turn number 1. Then Jay's going to run him to the edge though. Through turn 2, Jay ran him to the edge but gave him just about enough room. That was good defending there, but in the end Lambo came out on top as Damien's out. Damien is out of the Spanish Grand Prix, and that is somewhere in sector 2. So we're now down to 12 runners in this one. So Squeezy leads the way from Blizzard. 1.5 seconds is the gap so far in this race. Well, Squeezy has already had one race win this season, and that was the very first one in Australia. Can he add to his tally and become the first driver this season to have 2 race wins? Or will it be for Blizzard? Will Blizzard be able to reign supreme at Spain and make it 2 wins this season? Will Lambo be able to score his first win of the season? He's 2.1 behind Blizzard. That makes him 3.4 behind Squeezy. All will be revealed very, very shortly. We're about to start lap 27 of the Spanish Grand Prix. As that is a car in the pit lane. That is Steph in the pit lane, putting on a set of super soft tyres. As away he goes, you can see there he'll have the blue flags, and he slows right down to let the Ferrari through and Siege through, I believe that is as well. And he does do that, so he lets everyone through. But Squeezy then 1.6 the gap to Blizzard there, and they're all on roughly the same age tyres. Jay though is on 19 lap old mediums. Now he's going to struggle now to get those tyres to the end, especially with Spike, who's on a set of soft tyres, is reeling him in very, very quickly. Spike here tried the alternate strategy, starting from last place on the grid, and as he makes his way towards turn 7, you can see here he is closing that gap. 1.1 is the gap between the two of them now as we make our way through turn 9, and you'll see where that grip comes into play as Spike retired from qualifying in exactly that spot, and so far so good for him as he makes his way through turn 10 and then up towards turn 11. That inside curve there, you don't want to catch that too badly as we head through turn 12 and then towards 13, then that chicane of 14 and 15. It's important to get this part right. You can sacrifice your entry into turn 14 for the exit of turn 15. And Spike here rounding that final corner. He's got the DRS on Jay, and he can start reeling him in down the long straight then. 0.8 of a second. Watch that gap come down. Will it come down? It's actually extending, very slightly extending down that straight then. So you can see that Spike wasn't interested in deploying that much ERS. He's actually trying to save it with the DRS open down that main straight. So we have, I believe that's now 6 laps to go. Yes, it is 6 laps to go. So Spike hasn't got too long then to try and find a way past Jay, because Jay is 3.6 ahead of, or behind Lambo I should say. And you'll see here as we make our way up the hill, 0.4 of a second the gap. We now make our way through turn 9, and you can see there's Spike using that curb all on the left hand side. We've got yellow flags in sector 2. We'll have to see who that is in just a second as Litinho picks himself up a 3-second time penalty down there in P7. But we make our way through turn 12 on board with Spike. More yellow flags in sector 2. I wonder if that's Steph letting cars through. That could be what that is. In any case though, we have Spike here right on the tail of Jay as we head through the final corner. This is surely his opportunity with 5 laps to go. He's got to make this move stick for P4 then. In the slipstream he goes. Is he going to dart to the left hand side? Yes he is, side by side with Jay then as we head towards turn 1. Jay's got the inside line but doesn't fight him into turn 1, and Spike then gets P4 then going into turn 1. Meanwhile then Maze and the Gort battling for position. The Gort going into turn 10 running slightly too deep, but he's got the move done, and the Gort moves up to P10 then, and Maze drops to P11. Clifford here is doing well in P8, on course to score some points, but Poe is closing on him. 1.9 seconds so far, and at the rate he's closing him, he will catch him in around about 3 or 4 laps time, so it really will be a move on the final lap. He's got to make it. But Squeezy here has been showing us how it should be done. He has let the red mist descend it a few times over the past season, but at the moment he's got a clean race under him, and he will be starting lap number 30 in the lead. And 4 laps to go now here at the Spanish Grand Prix, with Squeezy in the lead, Blizzard second, Lambo in third there, making their way down the street. That is Spike in fourth, Jay fifth there, you can see. We've got also Siege in sixth, making his way through that chicane then. Lightinho is in 7th place. We've got Clifford there in 8th. Poe also in the picture, just coming through there in 9th place. We've got the Gort flying through turn 9 in 10th place. Mays here also flying through turn 9 in 11th. And Steph here looking like he's trying to charge up that battery. He's actually coming back to the pits as he's tapped the wall again. Surely this is not going to be... no, this is going to be his 4th stop of the race for Steph then. So nowhere near his previous best, if you can call it best. But another front wing change, another set of super soft tyres for Steph then. But we jump back on board with Squeezy then, as Blizzard has gone full attack now. He's really closed in on Blizzard there. You can see the clouds starting to gather over. Oh, Squeezy got a bit of a tank slapper there going into the entrance of turn 12, and that's really cost him a lot of time. Right, it's a mistake there from Squeezy, and on the 17-lap-old medium tyres, maybe they're starting to come to the end of their life. Coming around the final corner, 3 laps to go here at the Circuit de Catalunya, and look at that Lambo in the distance, hoping to take advantage. Blizzard here has DRS, so he's able to try and close in, and coming towards turn 1 then. Clifford has been passed by Poe then for P8. So Poe then 4.3 behind Lightinho. It's unlikely he's going to catch Lightinho up ahead. But at the moment, as things stand, it looks like Blizzard is going to stay or retake the championship lead heading towards Monaco. He's still going to get through 2 and a bit laps though. But can he try and extend that lead at the top by making a move on Squeezy here? Poe, his nearest rival, is in 8th place. So that's, I think that's a points difference of 14 points. So he will have a 12-point lead at the moment, heading towards Monaco. But Squeezy here, coming towards turn 10. These two are going to be battling it out, I know. And Lambo here is probably preparing himself. He's dropped back a little bit, 2.1 the gap is now between himself and Blizzard. So that means he's around 2.7 behind the race leader, Squeezy. As we see now, Squeezy just focusing on hitting his apexes and trying to pull away on the straights. And as you can see, Blizzard in that DRS zone once again. Squeezy starts the penultimate lap of the Spanish Grand Prix. And Blizzard is closing and closing all the time as we head towards turn 1. Lap 32. And Squeezy here is doing his best to try and keep a good control of that car. But he is struggling. You can see he's struggling with that car now as we head towards turn 4. You can see there, Blizzard has just set his best sector 1 of the race so far. 3/10 quicker than his previous best. He is on a charge right now. He knows the gap is there. He knows the opportunity is there as we head through the kink of turn 6, now towards turn 7, and then through turn 8. Now Lambo will be hoping these two battle so that it can draw him closer to the battle for the lead of the race as we head through turn 9 now, into the DRS zone. Heading down towards turn 10, you can see Squeezy trying to go defensive already, and Blizzard sticking behind right now as we head in towards turn 10. Now coming through 11, then through turn 12, we've got yellow flags, and Jay's out of the race! Jay, what's happened to Jay? Has he caught it on the curb there? On very old medium tyres. And coming around now, and oh, he's lost it completely coming out of turn 8. Lost that back end completely, and he's out of the race then. Meanwhile, Squeezy starts the final lap of the race in the lead. But how much longer can he keep it there as we head down the main straight? Blizzard pulls to the left-hand side. Squeezy's got to try and defend the inside line, but Blizzard takes the lead. And Squeezy tried to go around the outside of turn 1, tried the outside of turn 2, didn't quite work. And Blizzard takes the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix on the final lap of the race. And Squeezy drops down to second there, 4/10 behind. And the thing for Blizzard now is just to try and keep his head down and open up that gap now. Squeezy really will only have one chance to try and get past, and he's got to stay within DRS range for that to happen. Meanwhile, Poe and Litinho down the main straight then. Poe's trying to go around the outside of Litinho, and I think Litinho backed out of that one because he's got so many penalties. He just thought it wasn't worth battling them. Here we go then. Lambo, meanwhile, has really caught up to the back of Squeezy now. Is he going to try and move down into turn 10? No, he isn't. And Blizzard here, well, Squeezy has done all that leading up until lap 33. The final lap where Squeezy has, well, really been overtaken by Blizzard. And Blizzard, after his mistake in Baku, crashing out from the lead of the race, makes no mistake this time. He rounds the final corner. Blizzard wins his second race of the season and the Spanish Grand Prix. Squeezy there did really well. So close to a second race win this season, but he has to settle for second place. Lambo with a podium this season. He'll be over the moon about that one. Spike finishing fourth to add to another point scoring finish. Siege here with that spin under the safety car, kept his head down, and look what it got him. He's going to come home in P5. A great recovery drive from Siege then as he makes his way towards the line. P5 as Poe there, P6. And that championship lead opens up even more now as Clifford finished behind Litinho there, but Litinho with his penalties falls back to 8th place. We see now here the Gort coming through the final chicane, coming around the final corner now, and he will be able to take P9 in this one. Qualified really well, the Gort, and has had a decent race. That's decent points on the board for him then. Mays coming around the final corner. He's going to take his second point scoring finish of the season, and Steph there will round off the finishes a lap down from everybody else. But your winner of the Spanish Grand Prix is Blizzard, his second race win of the season. So there we are then, your top three, who were really all separated by less than 2 seconds by the end of it. But Blizzard came out on top here, made his move on the final lap, and takes victory here in Spain. So then we await the official, unofficial results, and there they are. Blizzard takes the race win from Squeezy and then Lambo. Spike finishing in 4th place on that alternate strategy, with Siege coming back through the field to finish in P5 after that spin under the safety car. Poe in 6th place, Clifford in 7th, Litinho 8th, the Gort in 9th, Mays rounding up the top 10 there, Steph in 11th. Jay, I'm looking in the chat, he had a puncture. So that's how he lost the car and went straight to the scene of the accident, going so well, but maybe just one lap too many on those tyres, and he finds himself out of the Spanish Grand Prix. Joining him were Damien, Sean, Plaster, Frank, Ollie P and Alan K, both Red Bulls not finishing the race today, and that will have implications in the Constructors' Championship then, as the drivers will now start to vote for Driver of the Day, as Blizzard takes his second race win of the season. So then, action-packed Spanish Grand Prix, especially towards the end there. Our first safety car of the season too, catching out a couple of the drivers then. And Jay was one of those drivers who pitted very early under the safety car. I was wondering if people would be able to get those tyres to the end, and well, Jay had that puncture and all went wrong for him. He didn't finish the race. He was leading the race at one point, but with those tyres, trying to take them so long into the race, puncture there ruined his day and ruined his Spanish Grand Prix. But that's it for this part of the stream. We have obviously Commentators Corner in just a few minutes. Before you go though, obviously we have the Monaco Grand Prix coming up on Thursday. That's going to be by Andy, by himself. And hopefully we'll see a Steph 9-stop. You never know. As well as that, don't forget TTFL on Friday, as well as TTL F2 on Sunday, the two 25% races that follow TTL F1 calendar. So that is the Spanish Grand Prix and the Monaco Grand Prix. So you can catch that all at 8 p.m. GMT. So hopefully you can join us for that. Let me see, TTFL. They had their Challenge Cup, their mid-season Challenge Cup. They did the F2002s, I believe, and the winner of that one was Poe. So lots of the drivers here in TTL like to race in the sister league, and Poe won that one. I believe their next race is the Italian Grand Prix this coming Friday, a legendary track then, so hopefully you can join Steph in the commentary box for that one. At the moment though, that's it for this part of the stream. Thank you very much for watching. Stick around on the channel, make sure you subscribe to TTTV and make sure you hit the bell so you're notified every time we go live. Hopefully you'll hit that bell and you'll see that notification pop up in just a couple of minutes time when we'll be back with Commentator's Corner. Don't go anywhere.